Shalom everyone, and welcome to our weekly study of the Parasha in the Zohar, Parashat Toldot. Parashat Toldot is a Parasha in the book of Genesis, Bereshit, chapter 25, and it's starting on verse 19. And what does it say? It says, Ve'ele Toldot Yitzchak ben Avraham, Avraham Holid et Yitzchak. Okay, these are the offsprings of Avraham. Abraham gave birth to Isaac. Okay, what's in it for us? And this is the best, this is our question right now. Okay, what does it mean when we read any kind of a sentence in the Torah and understanding that it is just a code? Why? Let me explain how it's working. Now, if we understand what the book of Genesis is about Kabbalistically, spiritually, we are not talking, as a Zohar is saying, about a story. It's not a legend. Something that is, it's a story about people that lived many, many years ago, and we have repeatedly to listen to their story, to the story of their lives again and again, year after year. You know, maybe we should read another book. We read that book so many times. It's already more than 3,400 years that we read this book all over again every year. But as we learned in previous classes, the Hebrew calendar is a magical calendar. Every year, on Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year, it's a new year because all the universe is being renewed, which means whatever it's connected to a human soul, Jews and non-Jews. The whole universe is being renewed. It's like a start, it's a restart. So in otherwise, we'll always be clogged with negativity. We won't be able to function. Every year we have a new opportunity. Every year it's like a new lifetime if you're really aware of how this universe functions. Now, after explaining that, the moment the year is starting, we have to learn again how to understand and vision what is our role. And the first thing is learning about Abraham and Sarah, Isaac and Rivka, Yaakov and Rachel and Leah. Why? We're not really talking about individuals, private people who had their own life, and now it's a telenovela, soap opera about the history of a dysfunctional family. No, it's not. In Kabbalistic writings, those people are called chariots. Chariot, it's coming from in English, from the French word charette, which means to compose, a composition. In Hebrew, merkava, again, comes from the Hebrew word leharkiv, to compose. What's a composition? Every human being is here on earth, in this life, for a purpose. And the purpose is, as we learned in a previous parasha, Parashat Chayei Sarah, to lead a double life. Yes, we have all kinds of needs and goals that are very physical. Just surviving through the day, that's very physical, which means food, shelter, power, protection, all of this is very physical. However, the physical is just the minimum, but it's not what we really want. We need the physical in order to provide a vessel for the soul. How do you provide a vessel for the soul, and what do you need a soul for? Because we need also the meaning. We need the meaning that is beyond just the physical. All research that is trying to find out the biggest secret in the world. What is the secret of happiness? What does a human being need in order to experience happiness? Okay, science is not really finished with that, but the research, especially the research that I saw for the last 10 years, a little bit more, it's that people are not content, are not feeling content and full, and the achievement without something higher, without a vision, without a meaning which is beyond the beastly needs of the body. You know, human beings need respect. If you had a dog or a cat, they also have a problem. If you don't respect them, they get insulted. So being a beast, and beasts, they need, a lot of beasts, they need company as mates. A lot of animals, they get married and they live together for many years, sometimes all their lives. Okay, being married is not just human. Same thing about having a society, having, a community. A lot of animals are community creatures. Okay, so that's not about human beings. You need access to the world above. When you have this kind of movies like Harry Potter, or like The Lord of the Rings, fantasy, or like Superman, it's all about superpowers. Why is it that these stupid movies are so attractive for billions of people? Because they answer the deep desire of every human being to experience the supernatural. This is a need that is, you can't live without it. You must have that aspiration for a meaning, that for something that is beyond just the physical fulfillment of food, power, sex, children, all of that stuff. You need something beyond it. You need to touch the world beyond. In order to do that, you need certain forces, and that's what the Torah is about. You need to download into your system certain forces, certain programmings that without them, accessing the world beyond is disastrous. Think about it. Idol worshipping. Ancient societies that were into idol worshipping, like ancient Egypt, like ancient Rome, ancient Babylonia, ancient Central, North, South America, with all the most colorful civilization that grew over there. They all finished with a religion with horrible cruelty, human sacrifice. Okay? No respect for human qualities and human needs or human rights. Okay? It was all of these societies were very, very cruel. Let's go even today. You still have societies that on the surface they may be Muslim or Christian, but deep under the surface, they are idol worshippers. They are into shamanism. They are into witchcraft. They are into all of that stuff. And what is the result? Cruelty. And look, all of these societies are very unlucky. Why? Because the moment you go against the rules of the universe that are being taught to us in Genesis, you can't be successful. Because you are really touching the supernatural, however, you touch it in the wrong way. What's the result? Disasters, troubles, and it's just getting worse and worse as long as you take that road. Okay, how do we see that? Abram and Sarah taught humanity about how to establish within themselves that state of mind of unconditional love, caring, and sharing. Okay, that's why we learn about Abram. Why? Because we have to instill in ourselves that part, because if you don't have that trait of loving and caring, you cannot really create an honest society. You cannot create a society with values that will lift the society upwards. Why? Very simple. When you have a person, an individual, part of a society, and that person feels that he's being surrounded with charity, with help, unconditional. Nobody checks your worthiness. People just care for you and help you just because you're part of their community. When you live in a society like this, you have this drive to serve back, that to give back what you're giving. You will fight for a society like this. And that's why when you look about the big wars of the 20th century, millions of people sacrificed their lives for freedom, honesty, and justice, so their next generations can enjoy freedom. Okay, and that's how human society in the 20th century defeated Bolshevism. That was terrible cruelty. Nazism, fascism, they were like really big ideologies that they turned their back towards the original values of the Bible, the Torah. Okay? And what was the result? What happened to Germany, Nazi Germany? They were defeated. Their big parts of the country was torn away forever from them. 12 million Germans were thrown out from Poland, from Czechoslovakia, from other countries. They went into exile and nobody wants to hear about them. Okay? So, and they had to just get used to a different way of thinking. Okay, what happened to the Soviet Union, whatever, all of that terrible Stalinism, Leninism about this killing so many people in the name of justice, in the name of loving others. But there is no recognition that a human being has a divine soul and he can't just kill. What didn't you understand from do not kill? What was the result? People were not willing to fight and give their lives and sacrifice for such a cruel society. What was the result? Finally, they collapsed because people were not willing to follow the lie and to manufacture more and more and more for that machine of lies, because how many years can you lie? Right now, we have the same story all over again. People don't feel they want to fight for a society that is not built on real justice. Why? You look at the government, don't feel that people sitting in the police system, you don't feel that most of them are really caring for you. See a lot of people that are obsessed with power and greed, and they don't want to serve you. Although you pay for it, okay, the public servants, or you voted for them. So what happens? People don't want anymore to give their lives for that. So Abraham taught and Sarah taught us about unconditional sharing and loving. You must learn that in order to achieve success, true success, which is true fulfillment. You need to have, and you see, I'm saying it again and again. I met thousands and thousands and thousands of people when, for the more than 30 years I'm teaching Kabbalah. I never met happy, selfish people. The only happy people that I met are people who are altruistic. Was everybody altruistic that I met happy? No. I met a lot of bitter people who were altruistic, and now they're bitter because they don't feel that they feel they're being used. They don't feel the universe is responding for their sharing. I'll talk to you about it. Then we have Isaac. And Isaac and Rivka, it's about the left column, about judgment. It's about Gevurah. It's about you need to take also, and we see it in our Parasha, that Isaac is a very successful business person. He's digging wells, he's planting, and he sees bliss and a lot of success. He knows how to draw bliss from above. He knows how to be successful and how to be a powerful person. Although there are limitations as we come to it. But also in the previous parasha, Isaac is giving his throat to his father Abraham, and he says, kill me if you think you're supposed to do that. Which means Isaac, as judgment, as a desire to receive, as a left column, is still allowing Abraham to bind him. When we have aspirations to make money, to be successful, to reach the top of the top, to get the first place in this and this and this, we always have, like Isaac, to be ready that if this desire to receive that I have, this desire to achieve that I have, if I'm not ready to subjugate it to loving and caring and sharing, I don't need it. So I have to subjugate it and allow to what? To chesed, to loving and caring. I have always, when I take that level, that trait of Isaac, the desire to succeed, I must have it ready to be bound by the desire to bound. To be bound means to be conditioned. You want to be happy, one condition. You will share that happiness with others too. Okay? And that is part of success. You need that for that success. And then comes Jacob. And Jacob, we read about here that when Isaac, these are the generations of Isaac. Toldot comes from the word yeled. In Hebrew, a child. These are the children of Isaac, or the outcomes. In Hebrew, it's also an outcome. Okay, what does it mean an outcome? A child is an outcome. When you have Isaac, again, we're not talking about the individual who might be living around Israel for 4,000 years ago. We're talking about the concept that Isaac created in the universe, that every human being can access that concept whenever we have a drive for success, for achievement. Okay, remember that. That's the most important thing. Okay, so now, when we are talking about what we read it this way, so what are the outcomes of Isaac? Isaac, the desire to receive. You have two kinds of outcome. Because you can ask yourself, how come Isaac and Rebekah, such righteous people, they were in such a level of generosity and love and a consciousness of righteousness and spirituality? How come they had a child like Esau? A killer, a murderer, selfishness, whatever that is wrong according to the biblical description of the person we all must become in order to achieve the purpose of our lives. And the answer is like this. No, we're talking about Isaac. And Isaac means left column, gevura, judgment. Every human being must have that trait. Because if you walk only with the right foot, you'll still go in circles. After lifting up and putting your right foot forward, you need now to lift up your left foot. Okay? Put it forward and bring all your weight on the left foot. Now you can raise the right foot and put it forward. You need the left foot. Which means, when you start a business, on one hand you start with the right foot. Giving, sharing, be at service. At the same time, you have to be realistic. You have to remember, you cannot deny that we human beings are here in this world to receive. You can't deny your needs and desires. And yes, one of them is to feel that you're being appreciated, that people pay you for that, that people say thank you. You can't deny that, which means you can't be ashamed of asking for money in return for service you give. You cannot. You have to insist, because you can't just walk with the right foot. Okay? So Isaac is, I need return for my investment. I need a payment for my effort. Okay? That's Isaac. But that has two outcomes. One is Jacob. What is Jacob? When I know that the only way I can justify my desire to receive is because I answer to a higher authority. And whatever I want it for myself, I want it only so I can go on sharing and caring. Why do I have to take care of it? Very simple. Want to be happy, it takes a village. You can't, when we're talking about happiness, so the UN is publishing every year the happiness, how do you call it? The levels of happiness in different countries around the world. And they learned if you want really to have the code of happiness, you need to take, you ask the person, are you happy? That's one, but that's not enough. Do you feel supported by your community? That's a very important aspect of the sense of happiness. Okay? And why would you have support from your environment if you're just selfish? If you don't give, you don't get. So if people decide, I don't want to give anything to anyone, you'll be lonely. Who wants to be married to such an Esau? Who wants to be married to somebody who's a black hole? I'm here to take. I came here to take. I'm here to take for my wife or for my husband. I don't need children because they're taking. I have to give. I have to wake up in the middle of the night. I can't just go wherever I want when I have children. Children is a sacrifice. Don't want to sacrifice. And that's why I don't want to be married even. That's why I don't want to take care of my neighbors. I don't care about my neighbors. I don't care about my community. I'm here to take. I'm a taker. When you're a taker, you're not, a community is an investment. A family is even a bigger investment. Children are investment. A spouse is an investment. The problem is, if you're alone and you don't feel being supported, you can't just go and complain, I'm not being supported, nobody cares about me. Why should they? You never show up. You're never there for others. Why should they be there for you? And they don't know you anyway. So they don't know if you're in trouble and need some help because you're not communicating. Remember, that is called Jacob. Jacob is the ability to realize that you cannot just be a taker and you cannot be just a giver. Because when you're just a giver, you get emptied. When you're just a taker, you get emptied too because no one wants to give you anymore. So and nobody wants to do business with you because you're a taker. People do give business with you when they feel they get value out of you. But if you just want to take without giving, service, whatever, nobody wants to communicate with you. That is the basic of happiness. Now, in our universe, who is in control? So as we said, Isaac is the desire to receive. The desire to receive have two outcomes. One is a desire to receive of the binding of Isaac. The desire to receive that is called Jacob. I'm here to receive, and we'll see in the next parasha, I need to take care of my own interests. However, I have to do it with values. I have to do it with honesty. That's why Jacob is being described over here as the person of values, as a complete person. But we have Esau. And Esau is the firstborn, and Esau is red. Esau is, I want to take, and I give only if I have to. Okay? Only if I must. I don't have any choice. Who got the birthright in this world? Look around. The Esau's or the Jacobs? The Esau's, again, are the people that are here for the take. And the moment they don't have to take, they don't have to give, they will never give. They always take more and give the minimum possible. Now, who is in control in world economy, world politics? Okay? Who is in control in world fame? Look at those people. They take much more than they give. Most of the time they don't want to give, they're here to take. They're takers. Why? How come they are in control everywhere? The answer is in this parasha. There are two outcomes of Gvura, of Isaac. Who is in control in our world? We, in this world, we are here not to find the truth. We are here to fight illusion. We're here to fight our own body consciousness. We're here to fight Esau. We're here to listen to the Jacob within each one of us and to fight the Esau, selfishness, body consciousness, which means I want and I don't care about anybody else. We're here to fight it. The problem is, as long as we fight it, when is that we fight? When things are not comfortable. Okay? When we are being faced and challenged with hardships. And the Zohar is saying, as long as this is not being fixed, as the correction has not come yet to all of humanity, and what is a correction? That we all reach that level of Jacob 24/7. As long as we don't achieve that, says the Zohar, troubles, troubles, and troubles. The injustice, injustice, and injustice. You want to be happy? Do not ever expect that the world will treat you with dignity and justice. It won't happen. Forget it. Why? Who is in control? Esau. Everywhere, wherever you go, they're in control. Why? Because you have to overcome. You know there's no justice. You know the truth is not reigning. You know that the people that win the elections, you know that the people really controlling your life, they don't care about you. They care about themselves. They don't care about your interests. And you know what? In spite and because you'll fight for success, keeping those values of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. In spite and because challenges, we are here to face the challenges and never give up. We're here to create light out of darkness. Why? Because we were created in the image of God. And because we were created in the image of God, no free lunches. We can't stand free lunches. That's why all of these people who take the attitude of Esau, I was born powerful for rich parents. I am so powerful. I'm a psychopath. And I know how to trick people to admire me while I exploit them. And what happens to these people? If you watch them closely, if you train yourself to think in the double levels of spirituality and reality, both. If you download the consciousness of Abraham and Sarah, Isaac and Rivka, Jacob and Rachel and Leah, when you really bring it in and you really connect to it, something amazing happens. You start to realize that those people, they're takers, they are successful, kind of successful in this physical world, but they're always aggravated. They're always like deep inside, like, what's wrong with me? Why is it I'm never happy? Why is it that all the people I ever met who were so powerful, they were neurotic, psychotic, they were crazy. They were never really happy. As Rabbi Ashlag teaches us, the founder of modern Kabbalah movement, you cannot give what you don't have. How do you know that somebody is really happy? When we are happy, when you and me, when we are really happy, truthfully happy, how do I know? Says Rabbi Akiva, love others as you love yourself. How do you know you're really connected to the real world? You're fulfilled. And then you love every creature of God as you love yourself. You can't help it. Why? Because you're full of spiritual light. You are connected to both universes, the spiritual and the physical. When we have those moments of contentment, of fulfillment, we really love. We're incapable of being cruel and hateful. We are incapable of cheating and robbing other people. We can't. So now you look at those people and you say, they have so much power and they're always stepping on others. They cheat, they lie. They don't go with the values of the book of Genesis or the other books of the Torah. Why is it? Because they cheat, because they suffer, because they're in pain. And as long as humanity is not reaching that place, and where does that start? With you and me. In spite, says the Zohar, in spite of the troubles, in spite of the pain, in spite of it's not really a big thing to be a person of values when you live in, and everybody around you is appreciating only the values of honesty. You know what? In this case, you're afraid to be dishonest because everybody will expose you in a second. The point is to be a person of values when it's hard, when it's difficult. When nobody around, nobody above, right? Nobody above, I'm talking about government, society. It's all about me, and selfishness. This is the time to be the real Jacob, the human being. And that's why we can understand this weird story. Why is it that Isaac, such a great man, he thinks that he should give the blessing of the birthright to Esau? How come he be so blind? And it says in the Torah he was blind. How can he be so blind? Isaac simply knew the rules. He knew that in our world the birthright belongs to Esau and his kind. The people just take and kill and destroy and cheat, and the psychopaths, they are controlling. And they don't care about you and me or about others. Okay, the more spiritual you are, people look at you in disgrace. Okay, you know what? Oh, he's honest. We can trick him because he's honest. He's not going to kill us back. Oh, we can kill him back, but cruelty. Okay? Isaac knows in this world the birthright belongs to Esau and his kind. But then comes the weird story. Rivka hears the story and she goes to Jacob. He says, you have to steal the blessing. Why? Because we, human beings, we have to be successful in spite and just because. We have to have the audacity of, yes, the world is not right. It's not just, but that's not an excuse. Sitting there and mourn and be a victim, that's not Jacob. Jacob, if you look at him, he's always surrounded with injustice and he doesn't care about it. So that's why Jacob is always demanding the birthright. And sometimes you have to be tricky. You have to outsmart Esau around you. Not by saying, oh, I deserve rights. No, you just take your rights and you achieve your success because you follow the values of God. Not because really who decides success and failure? Not our logic. Not our logic. Not our wits. How many people did I meet who are so smart? They have so many degrees from the university. Can't make a living. They have to work for somebody. If you're so smart and you learn economy and business, so how come you're not a billionaire? Okay, you know what, I'll teach. So how come you live on a paycheck if you know business so well? This is the thing. When we go by the values of the Creator, the values of the upper world, amazing thing happen. We'll be successful and fulfilled. Does that mean that all of the people of value are always billionaires? No, but they feel like billionaires because they're always enjoying what they have and they appreciate it, and being happy is the goal, not how much money people think you have in a bank. That's not the goal. That's upsetting. You know, seeing those people, they look around, everybody admires them, you have so much power, and they say, but I'm not happy. I'm not happy, I have to fake it, I have to fake happiness. I have to fake that I'm happy, but deep inside, oh, so many of them did I meet. What a pity. You have everything, you have nothing. So it's pain. Don't follow the lie. Don't follow Esau's lie. Who is PR? The PR today belongs to Esau. It has to be like, it's all lies. You have to follow the Torah in order to find the truth and to expose the lies. And we're living in an era that more lies are being exposed. It's not new. It was there all the time, but we didn't see it. We didn't merit. We're getting so fast towards the goal. So the truth comes up to the surface like it says in all the prophecies. We're getting so near. So you can see it. You can look at the person and he's naked and you realize it's all fake. He has everything and he has nothing. He has power, he has money, he has nothing. He's never happy. He can never be kind. Kind out of real inner happiness. It's all about power. Esau. And then Jacob realizes he has to steal, like all of us. You have to outsmart. Running around saying, I'm a victim, there was wrongdoing. Who cares for that? You know, people are screaming and yelling, I deserve my rights, give it to me. You can't give somebody happiness. The only way to achieve happiness and true success is to overcome that Esau thing that, you know, it's a very childish thing. You know, I was a failure because I was cheap, I've been cheated. I was a victim, I was that, I was abused. Can you make people happy this way? Never. Never. No matter how much you give them, it will never be enough. They always blame it on you. Jacob does not blame it on anyone. He takes his happiness, even when it's illogical. And how do we know that Isaac always knew that Jacob, he was not really blind. He knew that Jacob is the real one. You read the Torah. Just read the end of this parasha. On one hand, when Esau is coming in, the story is that Jacob runs to Rivka. She makes the food for Isaac. He brings the food. He says, I'm Esau. Isaac is blessing him. And he's like suspicious, but he's saying, no, I don't know, but I'll give him the blessing. And then and he feels that wherever Jacob came from, he came from the Garden of Eden. He says it smells like the Garden of Eden. And he's surprised. And then the real Esau is coming in. And then he says in verse 33, chapter 27, ויחרד יצחק חרדה גדולה עד מאוד. And Isaac was obsessed with terrible anxiety. And he says, who was there before? Whoever brought me the hunting. And the weird thing, and he brought me and I ate and I gave him a blessing and he will be blessed. Isaac is not upset that Jacob stole the blessing. In a way, Isaac is like, good for him. He did it. I didn't think he is capable of doing that. Good for him. Because that's our job, to be Jacob. Yes, you look around. There's no justice. Don't wait for it. Nobody cares for me. Don't wait for it. It's like, I don't see the government helping me. I don't see people helping. If I go with the values of the Bible, I'll be successful no matter what. I don't need that blessing. Because I get the blessing from the one above. And then Esau is crying, Father, give me a blessing. And Isaac is saying, you don't deserve a blessing. Because Isaac realized, like, why? We made it. I didn't think we could take it away from Esau. But you know what? I'll give you a blessing. This is a blessing. Whenever the true people of spirituality do not do the job, you'll take over. Why? What's the difference between them and you? You can't cry injustice and not behave with justice. And then comes the real proof. And the proof is here. Chapter 28, verse 1. ויקרא יצחק אל יעקב ויברך אותו. And Isaac calls Jacob and he blesses him. ויצווה ויאמר לו, he orders him and he tells him, לא תיקח אישה מבנות כנען. Don't take a wife from the idol worshippers of Canaan. Verse 2, קום לך פדן ארם, go to Padan Aram, which was in Turkey. בית בתואל אבי אמך, to Bethuel, the father of your mother. קח לך משם אישה מבנות לבן. Take yourself a woman from the daughters of Lavan, your mother's brother. ואל שדי יברך אותך, and God will bless you. ויפרך וירבך, he will multiply you. והיית לי כעמים, and you will become a commonwealth of nations. וייתן לך, and listen carefully right now. This is the punchline of the whole parasha. Verse 4. וייתן לך את ברכת אברהם, and he will give you the blessing of Abraham. לך וזרעך איתך, to you and your offsprings. לרשתך את ארץ מגוריך, to inherit the land that you live in, Israel. אשר נתן אלוהים לאברהם, that God gave to Abraham. Does it all. When Isaac gave the great blessing to Esau, basically he gave it to Jacob, but he thought he was giving to Esau. He didn't say the blessing of Abraham. He didn't give him the promised land. He never thought that Esau would lead the way. He said, what can we do? The dark side needs a blessing because he needs to be the troublemaker for the worshippers of the real light, of the real God, of the true values of life. That's their job. And I have to overcome that. But when Jacob comes in and he knows it is Jacob, he says, you are the one. You're the chosen one. Yes, you're the second in command. You don't have the birthright, but I never thought Esau is going to continue the legacy of Abraham. No, you are the one. Because you are the one who knows how to live in both worlds. You're the one who knows how, on one hand, to do everything right with values of sharing, of being there for others, at the same time being practical and never give up on your own success. Because don't forget, when God says the angel of God says to Abraham, don't touch the lad, he says, then never ever give up your desire for your own self-success. Bind it, condition it with giving, but never give up on it, because God created you to be fulfilled and happy. Never forget it. And that was Jacob is about all his life. They cheat me, okay, we'll find a way. And you know what? When you are with the light, when you are with the values of God, you always achieve what you need, no matter what. When you have that faith, here in this parasha, you lead the way with the blessing of Abraham and Sarah, Isaac and Rivka, and Jacob. And that will lead you to real, true, fulfilling success. Thank you so much, and have a great week.